What does it truly mean to be wealthy? Is it measured by the size of your bank account, the luxury of your possessions, or the prestige of your social status? These questions have puzzled humanity for millennia. However, few philosophical traditions offer more profound and practical insights than Stoicism. Founded in Athens around 300 BC, Stoicism presents a radical perspective on wealth that resonates powerfully in our modern era of consumerism and social comparison. Unlike contemporary views that equate wealth with material abundance or external markers of success, the Stoics saw true wealth as an internal state, a condition of self-sufficiency, moderated desires, and inner freedom. This Stoic perspective offers a refreshing alternative in a world where happiness is often linked to acquisition. It challenges us to redefine wealth beyond material possessions and social status. Chapter 1: The Stoic View on Wealth. Wealth. The Stoics, through their keen observations and life experiences, developed a profound understanding of the paradoxical nature of material wealth. Their insights challenge our conventional notions of what it means to be rich, offering a perspective that is both enlightening and liberating. Let's begin with Seneca, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers. In one of his letters, he writes, "Money doesn't make you rich. These individuals have riches, just as we say we have a fever when the fever really has us." This powerful metaphor reveals Seneca's view that wealth often possesses people rather than vice versa. Seneca observed that many wealthy individuals in Rome were paradoxically among the poorest in spirit. Money had made them obsessive, controlled their schedules, and surrounded them with insincere flatterers. Instead of providing freedom, their wealth had become a burden, enslaving them to constant worry and the fear of loss. This idea is echoed in another of Seneca's quotes: "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Here Seneca points to the greedy nature of desire. No matter how much wealth one accumulates, one remains spiritually impoverished if the craving for more persists. Epicus, another towering figure in Stoic philosophy, shared this perspective. A formerly enslaved person who gained his freedom and became a respected teacher, Epicus had a unique insight into the true nature of wealth and liberty. He once shared a story about a man who had been offered a lucrative job by the Emperor Augustus. The man came to Epicus, boasting about the money and fame he would gain. Epicus, however, was unimpressed. He responded with probing questions that cut to the heart of what truly matters in life. "I told him not to touch it," Epictetus told his students. When the man protested that he would make a lot of money, Epicus replied yes, for little in return. The man argued that many people would learn his name too, which Epicus asked, "Are you planning to be there every time someone utters your name?" When the man said his name would outlive him, Epicus said, so will a rock you carve your name into." Finally, when the man boasted about wearing a gold crown, Epicus delivered the kudris, "And they will put a crown made of roses on you for your funeral. You will look even more elegant in that." Through this dialogue, Epictetus demonstrates the fleeting and unsatisfying nature of external markers of wealth and success. He encourages us to look beyond the surface-level gains and consider the true cost of pursuing wealth, the sacrifices, compromises, and spiritual poverty that often accompany it. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher king, also weighed in on this topic. He famously said, "We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." This observation highlights how our perception of wealth is often shaped more by societal expectations and the judgments of others than by our values and sense of fulfillment. The Stoics recognize that true wealth comes from within, from a state of inner freedom, contentment, and self-mastery. As Epictetus put it, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This radical redefinition of wealth shifts our focus from external accumulation to internal cultivation. By moderating our desires, cultivating contentment with what we have, and developing our inner resources, the Stoics argue that we can achieve wealth far more durable and satisfying than material riches. These ancient insights challenge us to reevaluate our modern notions of wealth and success. They invite us to consider, are we genuinely enriched by the size of our bank accounts or the number of possessions we accumulate, or can we find a deeper, more enduring form of richness by mastering ourselves, moderating our desires, and focusing on what truly matters in life? The Stoic view on wealth offers us a path to freedom from the endless cycle of desire and dissatisfaction, freedom from the tyranny of others' opinions, and freedom to live a life aligned with our deepest values. In embracing this perspective, we open ourselves to a form of wealth that no market crash can diminish and no thief can steal: the wealth of a life well lived. Defining personal. Chapter 2: Defining personal wealth. In exploring the Stoic perspective on wealth, we now turn to a crucial concept: defining personal wealth. The Stoics recognize that true richness is deeply subjective beyond mere financial abundance. Let's begin with a powerful quote from Epictetus: wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This statement encapsulates the Stoic approach to personal wealth. It suggests that our richness is not determined by what we own, but by our relationship to our desires. Consider for a moment what a rich life means to you. Is it the freedom to travel the world, the ability to spend quality time with loved ones, the opportunity to pursue meaningful work, or it's the simple pleasure of a quiet life free from financial stress? The answers to these questions will vary significantly from person to person. Some may find wealth in a life of adventure and new experiences, while others may see it in the depth of their relationships or the impact of their work. Still others define wealth as the freedom to live unburdened by excessive possessions or obligations. Stoic says the richest person is not one who has the most but needs the least. This perspective invites us to shift our focus from accumulation to contentment. Instead of constantly striving for more, we can cultivate satisfaction with what we already have. This doesn't mean we should abandon all ambition or desire for improvement. Instead, it encourages us to be mindful of our wants and to distinguish between what we truly need for a fulfilling life and what society tells us we should want. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of self-sufficiency in defining personal wealth. Another prominent Stoic philosophy advised: make yourself wealthy not by facilitating every whim, but by removing them. This suggests that true wealth comes from our ability to meet our needs and find contentment within ourselves rather than relying on external sources for our happiness. Consider the difference between someone who needs constant entertainment, luxury, and validation to feel satisfied, and someone who can find joy in simple pleasures, meaningful work, and their own company, who in this scenario is truly wealthier. The Stoic approach to personal wealth also emphasizes the value of intangible riches: wisdom, virtue, meaningful relationships, and peace of mind are forms of wealth that can't be measured in monetary terms, but are invaluable to a well-lived life. As Epictetus reminds us, he is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. This attitude of gratitude is a form of wealth, allowing us to appreciate and fully experience the richness of our lives in the present moment. Defining personal wealth in Stoic terms also involves aligning our definition of success with our deepest values. It's about creating a life that is rich in meaning, purpose, and personal fulfillment rather than one that merely looks impressive from the outside. Let's take a moment to reflect on this. What are the things that truly enrich your life? What are the experiences, relationships, or accomplishments make you feel genuinely wealthy? How might your life change if you oriented your pursuits around these sources of genuine richness rather than societal expectations of wealth? By thoughtfully defining what personal wealth means to us, we set the foundation for a truly rich life. We free ourselves from the endless pursuit of more and open ourselves to the abundance in our lives. Remember, in the Stoic view, the wealthiest person does not have the biggest house or the most expensive car. It's the person who has cultivated inner peace finds joy in what they have and lives in alignment with their values. As we move forward, let this Stoic wisdom guide us in redefining wealth on our terms. Let's aim not just for financial abundance, but a life rich in contentment, meaning, and genuine fulfillment, knowing what is enough in our journey through Stoic wisdom on Chapter 3, Knowing What Is Enough. Wealth. We now come to a crucial concept, knowing what is enough. This idea is central to the Stoic approach to living a rich and fulfilling life. Let's begin with an old and profound statement: if you don't regard what you have as enough, you'll be miserable no matter how much you possess. This powerful insight cuts to the heart of our modern struggle with contentment. In a world that constantly bombards us with messages of more, bigger, and better, the ability to recognize and appreciate enough is a radical act. The Stoics understood that the pursuit of wealth, when unchecked, can become an endless and unsatisfying chase. No matter how much we accumulate, there's always something more to want, something else to achieve. This perpetual desire fails to bring lasting happiness. It can rob us of the joy and contentment available in the present moment. Consider the wisdom of Seneca's observations: it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. This reframes poverty not as a lack of possessions, but as an insatiable desire for more. In contrast, true wealth comes from being satisfied with what we have. But how do we determine what is enough? The Stoics would argue that it's a deeply personal question that requires honest self-reflection and a clear understanding of our values, and needs. For some, enough might mean having sufficient resources to live comfortably and pursue their passions. For others, it could be the ability to provide for their family and contribute to their community. The key is to define enough based on our genuine needs and deepest values rather than societal expectations or fleeting desires. Epictetus offers guidance: he is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. This attitude of gratitude is a powerful antidote to the perpetual craving for more. By focusing on and appreciating what we already have, we can experience a richness that no additional wealth can provide. There's a well-known story that illustrates this point beautifully. At a party, the novelist Kurt Vonnegut informs his friend Joseph Heller that their host, a hedge fund manager, had made more money in a single day than Heller had earned from his wildly popular novel Catch-22. Over its history, Heller responds, "Yes, but I have something he will never have enough." This anecdote captures the essence of the Stoic approach to enough. It's about something other than accumulating the most, but recognizing the sufficiency of what we have and finding contentment in it. Another Stoic philosopher advises: make yourself wealthy not by facilitating every whim, but by removing the knowing what is enough. Isn't just about setting an upper limit on our desires, but actively working to moderate and refine them. By cultivating contentment and practicing moderation, we free ourselves from the tyranny of endless wanting. We create space in our lives for what truly matters: meaningful relationships, personal growth, contribution to others, and inner peace. Recognizing enough also allows us to make more intentional choices about using our resources instead of constantly striving for more. We can focus on using what we have in ways that align with our values and bring genuine fulfillment. So how can we put this wisdom into practice? Here are a few suggestions. 1. Regularly reflect on what you truly need for a fulfilling life. Distinguish between genuine needs and fleeting wants. 2. Practice gratitude daily. Take time to appreciate what you already have. 3. Before purchasing or pursuing a new goal, ask yourself, will this enrich my life, or am I just chasing more? 4. Experiment with simplicity. Try living with less and notice how it affects your contentment. 5. Define success on your terms based on your values, not societal expectations. Remember, in the Stoic view, true wealth isn't about having the most, but about needing the least. By knowing and appreciating what is enough, we open ourselves to a richness that goes far beyond material possessions, the wealth of content and purposeful life. As we internalize this principle, we may already have more than enough. In that realization lies a form of wealth that no money can buy. Practicing poverty, one of the most counterintuitive yet. Chapter 4: Practicing Poverty. Powerful Stoic practices for cultivating true wealth is practicing poverty. This might sound strange in our modern context, where we often equate wealth with comfort and abundance. However, the Stoics understood that deliberately embracing discomfort and scarcity, even temporarily, can lead to profound insights and personal growth. Let's begin with Seneca's advice on this practice. Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, is this the condition that I feared? This exercise isn't about glorifying poverty or denying ourselves the necessity of life. Instead, it's a tool for building resilience, cultivating gratitude, and freeing ourselves from the fear of loss often accompanying material wealth. As Seneca wisely observed, wealth is the slave of a wise man, the master of a fool. This powerful statement encapsulates the Stoic approach to material possessions. The wise person uses wealth as a tool, not allowing themselves to be controlled or defined. On the other hand, the fool becomes enslaved to their possessions, constantly fearing losing them. By voluntarily experiencing poverty, even for a short time, we learn that we can survive and even thrive with much less than we typically believe we need. This realization can be incredibly liberating. It frees us from the anxiety of potential loss and helps us appreciate the abundance in our lives more deeply. Consider the story of the anonymous CEO who practices living on a minimal budget. For 1 week each year, despite his considerable wealth, he finds this exercise grounding and perspective shifting. It reminds him of the difference between wants and needs and helps him empathize with those less fortunate. This practice also aligns with the teachings of Musonius Rufus, who said, if you really want to make yourself wealthy, you must first get rid of your debts. While he was likely referring to financial debt, we can also interpret this as the psychological debts we owe to our possessions, the mental energy we expend worrying about maintaining and protecting our stuff. Practicing poverty can help us shed these psychological debts. It teaches us that our well-being doesn't depend on our possessions. As we learn to be content with less, we gain a form of wealth that can't be taken away, the wealth of self-sufficiency and inner peace. Epictetus, who experienced absolute poverty and slavery in his early life, understood this well. He taught he is most powerful who has power over himself. By voluntarily embracing discomfort and scarcity, we build self-mastery and resilience. We prove to ourselves that we can handle adversity, increasing our confidence and sense of personal power. How about we practice this Stoic exercise in our modern lives? Here are a few suggestions. 1. Designate a poverty week where you live on a minimal budget, eating simple foods and avoiding unnecessary expenses. 2. Experiment with a capsule wardrobe, limiting yourself to a small number of clothing items for a month. 3. Try a digital poverty practice by limiting your use of technology and entertainment for a set period. 4. Spend a weekend camping or a nature with only the bare essentials. 5. Volunteer at a shelter or food bank to gain perspective and cultivate empathy. Remember, the goal isn't to romanticize poverty or deny ourselves permanently. It's to gain perspective, build resilience, and free ourselves from the fear and anxiety often accompanying material wealth. As we engage in this practice, we may find that we need far less than we thought to be happy and fulfilled. We may discover a richness and simplicity that we never knew existed, and we may come to embody Seneca's ideal, becoming the wise person for whom wealth is a tool, not a master. By practicing poverty, we paradoxically make ourselves genuinely wealthy. We gain the freedom from knowing we can be content with little, the resilience from facing discomfort voluntarily, and the gratitude that arises when we fully appreciate the abundance in our lives. In embracing this Stoic practice, we take a significant step towards redefining wealth on our terms and living a life of true richness and freedom. Cultivating inner wealth. as we delve deeper into the Stoic perspective. Chapter 5: Cultivating Inner Wealth. When it comes to wealth, the most crucial aspect is cultivating inner wealth. The Stoics understood that true richness does not stem from external possessions, but from developing our character, wisdom, and virtues. Seneca powerfully captures this idea by stating, "Any man who does not think that what he has is more than ample is an unhappy man, even if he is the master of the whole world." This profound statement emphasizes that contentment and gratitude, rather than material abundance, are the true markers of wealth. Of wealth, even someone who owns everything can be impoverished if they can not appreciate what they have. The Stoics recognize that external wealth, while potentially useful, can also be treacherous. Seneca warns us at last away. With all these treacherous goods, they look better for those who hope for them than those who have attained them. This insight reminds us that pursuing material wealth often promises more satisfaction than it delivers. The anticipation of riches can be more alluring than the reality of possessing them. Instead of focusing on external riches, the Stoics advocated for cultivating inner wealth through the development of virtues. The four cardinal virtues of Stoicism, wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, form the foundation of this inner wealth. Wisdom, in the Stoic sense, is about understanding what is truly valuable in life. It's the ability to discern between what we can control and what we can't, and to focus our energy on the former. Justice is about living in harmony with others and contributing to the common good. It's recognizing our interconnectedness and acting with fairness and integrity. Courage is not just about facing physical dangers, but about having the fortitude to live according to our principles even when difficult. Pursuing what's right over what's easy or popular is the strength. Temperance is about moderation and self-control. It's the ability to regulate our desires and emotions, to find the middle ground between excess and efficiency. By cultivating these virtues, we build a form of wealth that is our own. Unlike material possessions, which can be lost or taken away, our inner qualities remain with us no matter what external circumstances we face. However, the Stoics also recognize the seductive power of external goods. Stoic warns, anything at all the applause of the crowd, high office, wealth, or self-indulgence, all of them might seem to be compatible with it for a while, but suddenly they control us and sweep us away. This caution reminds us that if we're not careful, external goods can take control of our lives, distracting us from what truly matters and eroding our inner wealth. Practical steps to develop inner wealth might include 1. Regular self-reflection and journaling. 2. Understand our values and motivations. 2. Practicing mindfulness to cultivate awareness of our thoughts and emotions. 3. Engaging in philosophical study and contemplation to deepen our understanding of life. 4. Seeking out challenges that help us develop courage and resilience. 5. Practicing kindness and service to cultivate a sense of justice and connection to others. Remember, in the Stoic view, the wealthiest person is not the one with the most possessions, but who has developed the most incredible mastery over themselves. It's the person who can find contentment in any situation, acts with integrity regardless of the consequences, and contributes positively to the world around them. By cultivating inner wealth, we free ourselves from the endless pursuit of external validation and material accumulation. We discover a form of richness that is enduring, fulfilling, and entirely within our control. Stoic quotes about wealth. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Epicus. This fundamental Stoic principle reminds us that contentment and moderation are the keys to a prosperous life. The richest person is not one who has the most, but one who needs the least. Seneca challenges us to find wealth in self-sufficiency and freedom from excessive desires. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. Epicus. This quote emphasizes the importance of gratitude and finding joy in what we already possess. If you would be wealthy, think of saving as well as getting. Benjamin Franklin, influenced by Stoicism while not a Stoic himself, Franklin's words echo the Stoic emphasis on moderation and wise management of resources. Make yourself wealthy not by facilitating every whim, but by removing the Musonius Rufus. This advice encourages us to cultivate inner wealth by mastering our desires. True wealth is the poverty of desire. Seneca succinctly captures the Stoic view that richness comes from wanting less, not having more. He is most powerful who has power over himself. Seneca. This quote underscores the Stoic belief that true wealth and power come from self-mastery. It is not the man who has too little but the man who craves more that is poor. Seneca reminds us that poverty is a state of mind characterized by insatiable desire, not a lack of possessions. The great blessing of wealth is not that it secures the possession of coveted things, but that it frees us from anxiety about the dreaded evils of poverty. Seneca. This insight invites us to seek peace of mind from inner wealth rather than the fleeting security of material riches. These Stoic teachings offer us a path to redefine wealth in a way that brings lasting fulfillment and contentment. They challenge all us to look beyond the superficial trappings of success and focus on what enriches our lives. By embracing the Stoic perspective, we can free ourselves from the endless cycle of desire and dissatisfaction. We can find richness in simplicity, strength in self-mastery, and fulfillment in living according to our deepest values. Remember, the Stoics didn't advocate for a life of deprivation, but a life of purpose, wisdom, and inner freedom. They understood that true wealth comes not from what we own, but from who we are and how we live. As we conclude our exploration of the Stoic perspective on wealth, I hope you gained valuable insights into redefining true richness. We've journeyed through the Stoic teachings on inner freedom, contentment, personal values, knowing what's enough, practicing eyeing poverty, and cultivating inner wealth. These timeless principles offer a compelling alternative to the relentless pursuit of material wealth in our modern world. They remind us that genuine richness lies not in what we own, but in how we think, act, and engage with life. I encourage you to apply these Stoic ideas in your own life. Reflect on what wealth means and how you might foster more contentment and inner richness daily. Remember, it's about balance, using wealth as a tool, not letting it master us. If this resonates with you, explore further, dive into Stoic literature, both ancient and modern, and please share your thoughts in the comments. How do these ideas connect with your life? What challenges do you anticipate? If you found value here, consider subscribing for more explorations of philosophy in everyday life. Your support helps us continue this work. Thank you for joining me. In the words of Seneca, the greatest wealth is a poverty of desires. May you find richness in simplicity, strength in self-mastery, and fulfillment in living your values. Until next time, live well and prosper in the truest Stoic sense.